AI is taking the world by storm, and I don't think many people even realize it yet. The White House announced a few weeks ago Operation Stargate, which donates $500 billion worth of American money into developing AI projects in the US. OpenAI, which created ChatGPT, has just gotten $40 billion in funding from investors. And to top it all off, some of your favorite Fortune 500 companies are starting to implement AI every single day. New models are coming out, new tools are coming out, and it's starting to get so good that people don't even know that they're speaking to a human or an AI. In fact, there was a test done in UC San Diego called the Alan Turing test, where there are human judges that look at text that is provided by AI, and their job is to determine, is it AI or is it human? They ran a test with GPT 4.5, and 73% of the time the judges were wrong in saying that it was a human, when in reality it was AI. So needless to say, AI is growing really fast, is getting really good, but many people are being left behind. So my goal in this video is to show you how to actually start adopting AI if you're a complete beginner. If you don't know where to start and you're completely feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling like you're on the back foot because it's growing so fast. Well, first of all, you're not, because it's just growing so fast that it's impossible to keep up with everything. But second of all, we're at such a low point of the adoption curve right now that most of the world just still does not realize the power of AI. And the fact that you're watching this right now gives you a leg up over everybody. So I'm going to show you exactly how to start developing an AI mindset so that you can start growing your business, making your life better, and just stay ahead of the curve. The last time we've seen innovation like this was Bitcoin back in like 2012 or whenever it came out, and then the internet in the late 90s. So if you're not capitalizing on this now, then you might be too late if you wait too long. However, let's just get into it. So I gotta get some context out right now. There are multiple different tools that you can use, different ways to look at AI. A lot of people know AI as, ChatGPT, they know Claude, they know Perplexity, maybe they know Gemini, all these different tools, but really all these are LLMs, learning language models. But what most people aren't aware of is things like AI voice bots. So you can use tools like Synthflow, you can use tools like Vappy to basically create dialers or inbound call takers that sound just like humans. They'll interact with you, they'll talk with you, they're able to respond within a few seconds of whatever you tell them. It's crazy. Most people don't even know that they're talking to an AI. They just think that they're talking to a human being on the other side of the line. That's not true. There's also AI chatbots. You can build these on Closebot or a tool called VoiceFlow. Basically, you've probably seen these on websites where these little chat bubbles come up and it's a conversation. The difference being is, instead of having a binary input-output conversation, it uses an AI like one of these models right here, mostly a ChatGPT or like an OpenAI model, where it just converses with you. Another tool is there are AI agents. You can build these on like things like Relevance AI. The difference between an AI agent and just a regular language learning model is that AI agents are made up of multiple components. Their whole job is to be able to do a task without any sort of support. So they have a certain trigger and they'll complete the task. Like for example, if you want to have it completely organize your email between what's important and what's not important, as soon as the email comes in, it can tag the email, it can respond to the email if you need it to, it can send you a text if it's an important email and give you a summary of it. It's like an AI assistant. And what it's made up of are knowledge bases. So where is it pulling its knowledge from? Tools, what tools does it have access to? So in the case I just shared, there's emails, maybe it has access to your calendar, maybe it has access to like your Google Drive and certain documents. The last part of it is a language learning model. So a prompt, it needs instructions on how to operate. That's AI agents. And then there's also AI automations and workflows. So this is where you're using things like Make.com, Zapier, N8N. Automations, pretty self-explanatory. They're just there to automate certain processes, especially repeatable processes, and you can use AI to do so. These are the lesser known tools that you can use and ways you can use to get AI. But again, looking at all these things, it just seems very overwhelming. It's like, how do I even get into this in the first place? I don't know how any of this works, and that's fine. What I encourage you to start thinking about is just having an AI first mindset by first understanding these language learning models. Just play around with them. That's literally it. The best part about this is when you actually start to play around with these language learning models is that you start to create leverage. You start to speed up decision making and you start to improve thinking. You are now operating at a higher capacity as a human being because you're leveraging a tool outside of yourself to speed these certain things up. Again, it's leverage. It's being able to put in less input but get more of an output. And that's what you get when you use some of these language learning models through actually improving your capacity. But okay, cool, like how do you actually implement all this? Well, the best part about this is as soon as you start playing around with these language learning models, that's when you start to understand how prompt engineering works. That is the number one skill that you can learn that makes all of these tools work. I'm going to add prompt engineering here as well because that is a key ingredient. And then once you understand these things, then it becomes so much easier to start learning some of these tools. The goal with all this is just to choose one. I tried to butt off everything and it just becomes way too overwhelming, way too complex. Some of these things do require some element of coding. Most of these things you can get by without any coding, but if you have a general knowledge of it, it's helpful. However, just focus on one because we don't want to create overwhelm. We want to create flow before we create any kind of friction. So once you understand this, that's when you're able to dive into these tools. But how do we develop skill of prompt engineering? So I recommend you do this as well, where you create basically a repository of all the prompts you use. I've done this for myself where I've split up between business, finance, marketing, sales, personal development, and other. I've created all these different prompts that have allowed me to do different things. This is the key part about getting into AI is, again, developing an AI first mindset. Instead of thinking, how can I do this, as thinking, how can I leverage AI to complete this faster, to complete this better? And this is where you start collecting a repository of all these prompts that you start to create. So one of the first prompts I made literally was a research GPT, where I basically gave it instructions like, you're the best GPT out there, blah, blah, you're world class at researching and deep understanding. Take the question, give the answer, provide a summary, then, provide actual sources to it, and then have a counter argument. So don't just give me like a biased, one-sided answer. Give me some counter arguments against what I'm asking about. And then counter sources, where is it actually pulling this stuff from? This, along with an explain like I'm 10 prompt inside of ChatGPT, I was just going back and forth and having fun. I was learning things like, what is quantum entanglement? What is game theory? Like stuff like that. You can ask ChatGPT those kinds of things and start to learn and start to understand how you can develop knowledge, decision-making, and thinking much faster, because now, instead of Googling things and doing research, which yes, takes its own effort, which yes, has its own benefit, but now you're getting answers much faster. So your rate of learning starts to increase and start to spiral upwards. And that's what creates wisdom. That's what creates experience. And that's what creates leverage, because now you're getting more out of just less. Another example here is for business, created like an 8-figure advisor. So this is a GPT prompt where I literally just go back and forth with it and just chat. I just use it to brain dump. I use it to just get differing views and just get it to bounce ideas. And basically the prompt for this is like, you're a $10 million CEO, you built multiple 7-8-figure businesses, blah, 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 blah. I put in the names of some of the business owners that I actually admire and like the way that they think. So it's all these different prompts. And then I added a note here in case somebody ends up using this, where you add context in your background and then you can just go back and forth. In fact, there was another study done, I think it was in Dartmouth University, where they've actually tested a TheraBot, so basically a therapist bot, and they've seen an incredible rate of depression going down by like 50%, anxiety going down by something like 30%, where these people are just going back and forth with these bots and actually getting help. They're getting the support that they need. Again, AI first mindset. Don't worry about trying to figure out all these tools and like, how can I implement this into my business? Just start focusing on the basic things. Like, how can you just increase the rate of learning? How can you increase the rate of decision making? How can you leverage your thinking by using some of these tools? Because as soon as you start using all these resources, as soon as you start to figure out how to create good inputs and then get good outputs, that's when you can start building out these tools and creating leverage. Literally, by you leveraging these language learning models, you're gonna be like 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of someone that just is not even using AI in the first place. So it's not this all or nothing approach. And I just wanna like encourage this thought process to you, because this was the case with me when I started in the space, where I was like, I need to know everything. I need to figure out everything. I just don't know where to start. But that's just gonna keep you stuck the whole time. What's actually gonna get you going is leveraging this. Again, another example that I want to show. So there's the AI tools expert. So if you don't really know what kind of like how to leverage AI, what kind of tools you can use, or if you're just struggling to come up with AI solutions, I created a prompt for this, super short and sweet, where it's, again, it knows the AI tools out there. It gives 5 AI tools available to just give guidance on how to create these tools or GPTs to complete tasks. So you can put this into ChatGPT, and then you can just tell it's like, hey, I'm trying to build XYZ out. Can you give me the AI tools to make this better, faster, easier? And it'll spit it out, and then that's how you can start taking action. Once you start looping and stacking all these skills and all these lever points, you're gonna now understand how AI actually operates, how it works, and how to feed it good instructions. And then from there, you can focus on one of these 4 aspects in your business or in a client's business. Maybe your client or yourself, you're spending a lot of time doing repeatable tasks that are just draining time and energy. Okay, maybe you dive first into automations and workflows and you figure that out and you just become a master of that before you become a master of something else. Maybe you are sales heavy and you want to outsource some of the things. Maybe you don't want your sales team taking care of some of the unqualified leads, or you just want to automate certain processes with a bot. Okay, maybe you install a voice bot where it now calls people or it actually takes the calls for you and frees up all that time. Maybe you have a website where you want to increase the rate of purchases done, or you want to increase the rate of reviews given, or you want to increase the rate of appointments booked. For example, like a barbershop, if you're a barbershop and people are logging into your website, it's going to take them multiple clicks to actually get to the point where they're booking an appointment. And that all creates friction. The more friction there is on our website, the less people are actually going to take an action, especially a desirable action when it comes to booking an appointment. So for example, if you're a barbershop, you want to optimize for the amount of people that actually book appointments. You want to make it as easy as possible. So what if you created an AI chatbot that pops up on the screen? It's like, hey, I'm here to help you. If you want to book an appointment, just let me know your availability, your date and time, and I'll book you in. That's it. The friction just drops by 90% because all the people have to do now is put a date and a time. It checks the calendar for you and it books it in for you as well. Or maybe you have just complex tasks where you want to create like an AI assistant, or for example, like an AI content bot, which can ideate, write, and post content for you. That's where maybe AI agents come in place, where you start building this out. And now instead of hiring a team member that does it, you can just train up an AI based on everything that you have inside your company, like all the knowledge bases, all the services you provide, all the values, all the stories. You just feed the AI that, let it loose, and it just operates 24/7 without constant involvement, without taking breaks, without weekends, evenings off, without getting sick, any of that. This is how you create leverage. To summarize everything, you start with learning these language learning models because this is the base. This is what gives you leverage. Once you learn these skills and you have these skills, once you've developed that first layer of leverage, second layer of leverage is now finding solutions for your business or your clients' businesses, and then mastering one of these first skills. And then you just start to surround your life around with all these AI tools and an AI first mindset, and that's how you develop, that's how you grow, that's how you get a leg up in this basically $1 trillion industry. Like AI, by the year 2027, I think it was 2028, is gonna hit $1 trillion. So if you're not using AI right now, you're probably getting left behind. And if you don't want to get left behind and you want to actually leverage this trend instead of missing out on the Bitcoin bubble or the internet bubble, it's time to actually start right now. Have an AI first mindset. Start learning these tools. Start learning how to prompt engineer. And if you don't know how to prompt engineer, by the way, I have a video on that I'm going to link that gives you the full instructions, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, on how to prompt engineer. If you're a high-level business owner and you have all these complex solutions you want to solve for, you're going to need to understand how to prompt engineer on an advanced level. If you're just playing around with AI, you don't have a business, you just want to have fun with it and learn it, maybe the beginner level prompt is what's going to help you actually get into the space. It just starts with having an AI first mindset, learning how to prompt engineer, and then starting to think about where can I leverage AI in my day-to-day to solve problems. Just do that day by day, and eventually it's going to compound into something big, into something that actually implements AI into your day-to-day life, where you're able to have more impact, more energy, more time freedom, more health, more wealth. It doesn't matter. AI is an incredible tool. If you're not using it now, start using it, and this is how you do it.